Hello, good evening, and welcome back. This video covers 3 articles, and the main thrust of it being that the people elect officials, politicians, in order to enact what they want to happen, because the politicians are in control of the law, in which case they have the monopoly on force. As in, they can create laws and imprison people, use force against them willingly and involuntarily for the participants, the victims, in order to get them to abide by it. But if these laws are in place that the voters don't agree with, then that renders the contract obsolete, in which case, why would you trust the government to do other things, and why would you trust them to have the monopoly on force, and you would have to enact it yourself. So with that in mind, let's begin. Nigel Farage, no police action over take the knife comments. Police say they will not be taking further action over comments made by Nigel Farage in a speech to supporters. I don't care what people say about incitement to violence, because it wasn't. But nonetheless, this absolute mad lad has said, in a video of the address, the member of European Parliament can be heard saying the bosses of the ports of Calais and Dover report they are 100% ready for Brexit in whatever form it comes. Mr. Farage added, I suggest we listen to them and not the overpaid pen pushers in Whitehall who are not doing a neutral job. And once Brexit's done, we'll take the knife to them. As in, cut them out. Yes, beautiful, and I love it. Treading the line, as you may very well be. He latterly says he should have said taking the axe to them, that's the more colloquial term. And he is still Mr. Farage, but hey, if Brexit succeeds, why shouldn't he get knighted? So they say the language used by politicians over Brexit has come under the spotlight this week, with a number of MPs during Commons debates on Wednesday and Thursday criticising the Prime Minister's choice of words. That's with regards to the Prime Minister calling humbug to people saying, well, basically trying to bring in Jo Cox and her murder where it isn't relevant. Trying to bring her in, saying, well, hey, you're endangering us by saying that Brexit should be done and it's the will of the people and we're trying to stop that. And therefore, you're at fault. No, he isn't. And good on him for not apologising. So the police say they're looking into it and then no action should be taken because it's not a criminal offence. So, brilliant, good. Job done. Moving on. Man charged following disturbance at MP Jess Phillips' office from yesterday. A man has been charged after allegedly trying to break into the office of Labour MP Jess Phillips while screaming fascist, which is fun, and whereas in the he says fascist. I'm not supporting violence, I just understand it. So, calling fascist is a great idea, seeing as fascist, well, that comes from the British word of the same stem, faggot. It's in a bundle of sticks, that's the idea, because it's socialism. So it's left-leaning, if you will. Fascism, National Socialism, it's all left-leaning, and I'm sick of the bullshit that you try and say, oh, Nazis are far right. Not at all. They're very much left if you look at the policies. So Michael Roby, aged 36 in Infirmary Road, Birmingham, was charged with a Section 5 public order offence after a disturbance outside the MP's constituency office in Yardley Road, Birmingham, yesterday afternoon. He was charged with the offence this afternoon and released on conditional bail. Due to appear at court, Labour MP is the chief felt jumpy and worried after a man was arrested outside her office. Basically, you just thought you can get more victim points, and there she is with her classic horse face. Horse with an H, not W. So the arrest came hours after the Labour MP pleaded with the Prime Minister to moderate the tone of his language over Brexit. Pleaded? No, she said she got pity of people supporting him. I wouldn't say pleaded. She's virtue signalling as she always does. And there she is, clearly tall if she's laying down. She accused Mr Johnson of deliberately using inflammatory language designed to inflame and hatred division. Right. I think I can work out what they're trying to say. Again, not at all. The MP's constituency office is closed and the sign of the window reads, sorry, we're closed today on security advice. Surgery tonight has been cancelled. Yes. Good. As it should be. That if you're not carrying out the will of the people, or you have been elected to do, and you feel worried, then you should be. You should feel worried for your safety. I'm not encouraging violence, obviously, but I am saying that if you're not upholding your end of the bargain, then why do you expect people to uphold their end of the bargain? Of course, they wouldn't. And to further this point, let's go on to our third and final article. This is Boris Johnson no confidence vote could be next week, says SNP MP Stuart Hosey. Don't care about reading through it, we'll just read through the close that they say, seeing as Corbyn keeps saying, yeah, we'll do it, and never does it. So anyway, moving on, with Winston there just making a hoo-ha out of nothing. has said an emergency government may be necessary, but argued that MPs from all parties will not be able to unite around Mr Corbyn as a temporary leader. Yes, we understand, and you understand, that you're really unfavourable, you're full of shit, you will do nothing but ruin the country, and you're against the will of the people. So not only are your ideas awful, but you're still going against the will of the people, so you can't even use that defence. She said her party has suggested other MPs as possibilities, including senior MPs who are planning to step down at the next election. Mr Hosey said, if another name came forward that was acceptable to everybody, a Ken Clarke or Dominic Grieve type figure, then self-evidently that would be a good thing to do. Disagree completely. But it is also self-evidently the case that the second largest party should have the first chance to form that administration. No, not at all, and you won't. If Jess Winston Lib Dems are actually serious about their stopping Brexit position, then they need to stop playing political games, get on board with everybody else. Yes, and they are serious, but they know that they don't have a chance in hell. So, I think we're good here. Go on, so do it. And as I said before, the DUP should do it. Go on, try it. Call for a vote of no confidence. Evoke it. See what happens. Because it'll pay off for you as well, UP. So they say, pre-agreed plan. A motion of no confidence of Parliament allows MPs to hold a vote on whether they want the government to continue. If the government loses the vote, MPs have 14 days to express their support for an alternative government. And that isn't going to happen. In which case, if an alternative government cannot command a majority in the House of Commons in that time, a general election could be held. How do you think that's going to go, considering Johnson's history of being an excellent campaigner? Mr Hosey stressed it was vital that opposition parties had a plan in place to secure a Brexit extension before triggering a no-confidence vote. If that is not in place and effectively pre-agreed, then we might end up having a general election on Boris Johnson's terms, perfect, and allowing him to run down the clock and crash out without a deal. I like that they still use this loaded language to say crash out without a deal. You've used that so much that it's become appealing to me. That we've already seen with Scotland and Edinburgh that they're not allowing the white Scottish people to speak. So yes, and I said before with the ADL saying diversity equals white genocide. Well, can you see that now? That Edinburgh being 92% white, that the oppressed majority, but in other parts of the UK where this policy is still pushed, they're the oppressed minority. So what are you going to do then? Because you're not actually for the minority at all, are you? You just hate whites. Similarly, as you can see with liberals or progressives having a out-group bias, as in a positive out-group bias instead of an in-group bias of about negative 14%. So it's about equal to other ethnic groups having a positive in-group bias. But it is more than in the opposite to conservatives with a positive in-group bias of about 10% instead. So yeah, if you're a white person in liberal circles or progressive circles, which is more regressive, then you're fucked. They're not doing it on principle, they're just doing it on skin colour. They are everything they rally against, in which case they're just full of projection and they've got guilty consciences. But again, and I want this to be the main thrust of this video and the closing point, that as Farage has alluded to before, saying if Brexit wasn't done, we should get the guns, that it is the same point. If the government, which is supposed to be democratically elected, and you can decide on your own if it is or isn't, and like if democracy was going to change anything, then it wouldn't be legal, that if they are voted in to enact policies, and then they renege on that, they do not go forward with what they've been voted in to do, but they still have the monopoly on force, then people are going to turn on them with equal force. It's been said to me that just mass terror, or mass murder and terror and killings don't really change anything except to solidify the country against this external threat, even if it's domestic. If you take out the right people, then that tends to have the opposite effect of just combining the people against the elites. And if you use something like a suicide bomb approach, then there's nothing they can really do. And if you want to go full meme edgelord, then of course you can say, well, we demand that the Parliament, all the Remainers, are in Parliament for the 5th of November, just to have a very British tradition come back to life. When was the last time V for Vendetta was shown? And isn't it about time it was shown again? But enough with the revolutionary language. This needs a backing track for that. That's it for now, and this is getting to a very serious point where we can already see civil unrest starting, and it is completely understandable that people wish to act this way. So I'll go while I still have plausible deniability, And thank you so much for watching these increasingly dark yet hopeful times. And we all look forward to things being sorted out. Until then, thank you so much for watching. I'm always intrigued to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below, so I look forward to it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.